hear me well? Hello and welcome to my presentation. My name is Albrecht Fahrz and I want to introduce to you the ontology for chronological construction processes. And I start by showing the process of my presentation. First I start with a problem statement and then I will explain to you the concept behind the OCCP. I will give the current status of validation and I end with a summary and a short outlook. So the problem statement, and we heard this before by Alex Donkers and other words, basically, we face challenges in managing complex asset and project information in the IACO sector and the German railway sector, which is where I come from. We struggle with many data silos that hinder information exchange and results in redundant data acquisition and inefficiency in general, basically. We also have fragmented records that sometimes don't differentiate between planned and actual timelines that leads to errors and reduced traceability. And the existing standards lack robust temporal building lifecycle related data management capabilities. There's also a lack of structured semantic approaches to manage chronological information that enables traceability, consistency, and automated validation. So our idea was to store all building-related data that we can find in one data container using the multi-model approach, as we heard earlier today, and develop a graph-based representation of the life cycle of this building and add temporal life cycle-rated context to the data in the container. Our approach was to reuse existing ontologies, and we wanted to keep it as generic as possible, so we started with the OWL time ontology, and we quickly identified some gaps and restraints. For example, it lacks, of course, the domain-specific constructs to build IACO-specific workflows, and there's no distinction between planned and actual timestamps, and also there's no validation for chronological consistency by itself. So we started developing the OCCP and then quickly realized that there are some generic additions that we make to the OWL time ontology that should better be separated into a generic version, the ontology for chronological processes, to improve reusability, and then add to that another expansion which basically builds upon the OWL time ontology and the OCP to add the IACO-specific context with the ontology for chronological construction processes. So let's start with the OCP. We added additional classes and properties to better describe intervals by differentiating between processes and phases that then can be nested in each other. And we also added iterating intervals. It's a class called cycle. I'll show you an example for that later on. Then we also added a specific instance to better describe milestones or transitions between phases. We call them transition. And then we also added properties to describe unfinished or uncertain intervals by differentiating between estimated and actual timestamps. And then there are a few additions to improve the modeling of relative relations between intervals. So if you look at these SHACL snippets here, Protege snippets, you can see in short the additional classes, but also a bunch of object and data type properties that basically allows for the modeling of estimated and actual timestamps and relative relations between intervals. We also added some SHACL shapes to describe constraints concerning the use of these additional classes and properties. For example, to ensure that each instant can only have one actual timestamp, but of course several estimated timestamps. And then we use SHACL shapes to check for the possibility of temporal information. For example, if phase A comes after or begins after phase B, then of course that the timestamps should show this as well. So to visualize this concept a little better, here you can see some phase, and to those phases following the OWL time ontology logic, you can of course then connect time instants to better describe the structure of the phase. and you can do this indefinitely, of course. And now you can add several phases, and you can put them into context by using the process, which then combines all these phases. And you can also add sub-processes within phases, and of course within these processes that you can then add further phases and also cycles and milestones. So you can pretty much build pretty complex processes using the OCP by itself. So imagine you have a product development, and it consists of several components. Let's look at component A. You start with the development, then you reach a stage where you start testing, and after testing you realize this is not going to work this way, so you go back to development, and this is where the cycle comes in, because you go back and forth between those two phases until you finally test it successfully and you finish the testing process. So if you have several components, then you might have several instances of these processes basically, and only once the testing is finished for all of these components, then you reach the transition of successful testing and go over to the next phase, and you can all model this with the OCP easily. Now let's focus on the OCCP, which is the additional classes that we added to better describe IACO-specific lifecycle elements. We added phases, for example, the planning phase as a subclass of the OCP phase. And then we added OCCP phase-related instance to better describe the instance that belong to these phases that we described, and also milestones to better describe the transitions and also cycles. So here is a brief overview of those additional classes, not all of them, but just to give you an idea, we have additional time intervals with the phases, and we also have additional time instance to describe those phase-related instance and also the transitions. Here we also added some shackle shapes to describe the constraints concerning the use of the OCP and the OCCP's classes in combination with the OCP. So for example, there can only be one beginning of planning instant attached to an actual beginning and one phase. So combining these two assertion boxes with the logic of the time ontology allows for the description of complex processes that are individually defined and both finished and unfinished. And with the OCCP, you can then add the IACO-specific framework to build a building life cycle. And through shackle validation, we can define temporal and semantic constraints. We support iterative and nested temporal structures, and it allows for validation of sequential and the hierarchical order, and we prevent erroneous overlaps between phases. So let's look at the status of validation. You can look at the current status of development of these ontologies using the links on GitHub. You can find the T-boxes, you can find the shackle shapes and exemplary A-boxes. It is still work in progress. And the next step will be to provide a real-world example using these ontologies. And of course, we want to fully release these ontologies following the FAIR principles. So to sum it up, our goal was to enable a graph-based representation of a building life cycle and add temporal context to multi-models. Our approach was to extend the OWL time ontology with both generic and domain-specific temporal constructs, and we use a modular architecture, the OCP as a generic basis and the OCCP as a IACO-specific framework. And we implemented some shackle-based validation scripts for chronological consistency. And the current impact, it enables design processes with advanced complexity. For structured temporal management, we enable semantic enrichment of building lifecycle information, and we strive for automated consistency checks and validation. And of course, this provides a machine-readable chronological record. Future work is to integrate these ontologies within the concept of the chronological models. If you want to know about more, if you want to know more about this, please come to me afterwards. And we want to develop a software tool to manage these chronologies, and of course validate this in a real-world scenario and test it for applicability and scalability. And yeah, here's a short overview of the sources I used in this presentation, and I thank you very much for your presentation.